got my back there. All right, are we all here?
I think so. Is everyone here?
So each pair, when you leave here, you need to pick up 1 bucket of water, 1 bucket of fertiliser, 1 mallet, and I think to take a bottle, we might as well do it at the same time.
Yep.
And you'll have a spade shovel with you.
Yep.
Right. So the first thing is to dig the hole, which you've done. 11 steps, they tell me.
11 steps, is that right?
In the sand, it's really important that they're planted, I think anywhere. I always say to the small kids, this is the most important time in the plant's life. If it's done well, they will live, and there's a good chance of living. And if it's not, you might as well throw them over your shoulder now. And one time we had Greencore walk with us, and they were really hell-bent on putting in lots. They put in lots and they all died. So they just couldn't done. So the first thing is to see about the depth, and someone wonderful has planted and dug this hole really deep. Now, if it was a small plant, we would fill it in, but that's about right for where it is. So to get it out, I think these should come out pretty well.
So we
but
would
they
say
may not.
about a third to no more than half, yeah? Would you say? Or even up to... Doesn't really matter. They'll all produce roots along here because it's sand and because it's porous. It's not going to rot, right? And it will produce roots along that stem.
Yeah, and the root stays cool, moist. It's just something they came across.
Yeah, especially in the arid desert areas. Yeah, so
You experience that in your business.
Okay.
On the sand dunes in like coastal WA. This is the technique that they were using, this long stem planting.
It's
It just
all right.
keeps running.
It's groundwater, and it's going. It would be going out there anyway. So now it's going out.
Now it's going into our planting area.
So to get it out, sometimes you just have to press down on that. Can you see?
Yeah.
And then one person, a hand under to catch. Can we give it a shake out?
Yep, and then just tap.
Comes out beautifully. Look at that.
Boom. Yeah.
And it goes very carefully in. The idea is not to disturb the roots if possible.
As little as possible, yeah.
Natives hate having the roots.
So you can see that fell apart, but Kay carefully lowered it in and just let it kind of drop at the bottom. And central, see how she's positioned? That's kind of quite relatively important as well. Try and keep it central, and someone holds that area then while that's in.
And we should put a little bit of water in the bottom,
As a
probably before we started.
That's all right. We can
Just
give
a
it a
slosh.
wee slosh. Yeah. So just wets the hole at the bottom. Yeah.
So then this goes in, and that's. And as it goes, we punch it down, because the one thing you don't want is air around the roots, because air around the roots, it will dry out and die basically. So you're just punching it down however hard you want to punch it. About halfway up, we put in the fertiliser, but we don't put it in the bottom because it washes away if you do that. And you can't leave it on the top because it evaporates. So about halfway up, and just a spoon, a teaspoonful.
Yeah. So just that in your hand, you just sort of scatter it around like that.
Slow release.
Yep.
They don't like too much. It does help
Oh,
them
the
though.
bottle. Where do we put it? This is probably a good point to put the bottle in.
Good idea.
So poke the bottle, I reckon, just towards the roots like that, and we literally can bury the bottle around about sort of halfway up. Yeah. So it's really sturdy. It's not going to come out of there. So let's fill her in. Yeah.
Now the most important. The most important part in the sand, because this sand is hydrophobic, doesn't like water, and if you pour it on the top, it just runs off. So in the sand we've found that the most important part is to leave a dip, so that when we fill it, the plant gets the water and it doesn't run away.
Yeah.
So around the edge, if you want to build that up,
Just like that. Get some dam.
yeah, and then we put fill that hole actually with water.
Yep.
Just
So
fill
around
it.
about half a bucket per plant. Are we just saying roughly?
Yeah.
Roughly.
You can't water too much. The more the better.
And I'll fill that up as well. We can
It
come
might
back.
take a whole bucket for these.
Yeah, it might do actually.
Just fill that hole with water. So then sometimes it's worth just checking, because that will develop. Sometimes it'll develop
So that's nearly a whole bucket.
gaps. Yes.
Yeah.
Once that water's main job is to settle, and it's settling around. So see how it sits? It doesn't soak in. So if you pour it on the top, it just flows off. But hopefully that'll now, it will soak in. And
yeah.
the theory is when it rains or when we water, it can sit there and the plant can get all the water.
Yeah.
We don't lose any. So we need mulch, and there's plenty of mulch around. So
Just grab a little handful.
there's a lot under the trees. if you run out of stuff that's close by.
You can grab the macaranga leaves, make
Yeah,
beautiful
beautiful.
mulch, do like that lovely mulch. So just around it, so then that kind of
Sorry,
holds
why
it in.
don't
I would probably bury that water bottle a bit deeper, so I probably haven't got it in
That's all right.
deeper. Are you all right with that?
That's
You
right.
don't reckon that'll come out? Yeah.
I reckon
Yep.
just put
And
some
then
more water in there.
and then
So-
we'll fill that up.
Yeah. So then we need to put in the guards, the stakes. So the stakes will hold the guard, obviously. Oh, big mistake, you know it. And it's a good idea to put one in and then get your
Guard on, so you're not doing them too far apart. The beautiful thing about the sand is it goes in super easy. Now we don't do it on the crease. That's tempted to do the crease. We need to do it on the flat side so it opens it up. So we pop that over, and then gently over. There we go. So this is where it sort of takes two of you, so you don't damage the plant. And you can leave the bottle on the outside if you want, because then you want easy access. And then we want to pull that other one.
and this one. Then once you get that one in, you can pull this out so that it's quite taut. Perfect.
Boom.
Boom.
So that's how it is. It's just quite a few steps, and it's good if there's two of you, because if one forgets like I did, you remember. So that works well.
And then the hydrotain we're going to do at the end. We're going to worry about that afterwards.
Yes. So
That'll be something we'll do right at the end once everything's installed. We'll send 3 or 4 of you off to do the hydrotain.
right. So I'll just show you what happens. So the hydrotain, it's a detergent. The Shire Council uses Morning Fresh, but this is actually an organic, much safer one. All you need in a bucket is that. So it's 1 capful in a bucket. And and then
You've got the hose.
It's a bit steamy.
And then later on, someone's going to come around and do this. Someone who's not digging and planting could do this job, just to follow up. We then just put one. I'll do it. Pretend the hydrotane's in there, and it just goes. Doesn't go on the leaf, please. It just goes around. So 1 cup per plant. Now what that does is it breaks down the silicon in the sand, so that the sand takes in water better, and it keeps the plant. Well, it's like a wetter, really. So it keeps the soil wet for longer.
They reckon it breaks down the waxy coating that forms on the sand particles. And that's, it's just like a cuticle that builds up on the sand particles, and that stuff just breaks it down and allows the water to penetrate.
Yeah, about
Why-
1 slosh.
Why did you fill it up with mulch and not sand or
No, we
soil?
filled it up with sand. Oh, but we've still got this dip.
Yeah.
We need what I filled up with mulch was just the dip,
Okay.
because you need that to keep that dip. So when we come back and water, if we haven't got that, the water runs off. But when we water, it sits, goes in, does the lot.
So to clarify, you create the well, you make sure that sand is all packed in, the mulch is just the final topping. In fact, I would probably even water it in, drown it first, and then lay your mulch back over the top even. But you can water it with the mulch so it doesn't float away. The mulch is actually like having a cool blanket. So it's keeping all the roots cool, and also it's making sure that anything under there holds moisture, because it's organic matter, where the sand has got no ability to hold the moisture. So it slows down any rain that goes in and holds it at that root zone. So
I'd put water in and then the mulch, and you can see how much water you've put in. It's going to take probably, by the time we fill these it'll take probably a bucket a plant. These plants have already been, Lois and I have soaked these plants in
overnight,
in a sea salt, something just to reduce the shock, so that they're already, and it makes a huge difference if there's sort of, it just reduces the shock of all that change. So these will need to be kept wet for a couple of weeks. So that's why the bottles really help. And then they need to be watered. If we don't water, they die. Depending, if we get huge rain, your common sense. But
so what we may do is, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll probably water next week potentially if we don't get rain, and then the following week we will come down. We'll do some overspray, because we were talking about hitting this asparagus fern again. Doing some spray, and while we're doing that, come and water as well while we're down here. So they're getting a good 2 weeks of solid mothering, and then after that we'll start to stretch it out a bit. It might be that you guys don't come down at that point unless we do another visit. Next visit we come down, but otherwise it'll be split between me and maybe Bunny or the close care group that are down here to try and keep these going, to get them established. Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
every pair.
and then the next group that comes next term, they'll do some watering as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So every pair needs one spade, one shovel, one bucket of
do we have that?
fertiliser, one bucket of